not occasion additional expenditure of public funds. That is on the statement on whether the bill is a money bill according to the meaning of Article 114 of our Constitution. That is the Cancer Prevention and Control Bill that is expected to amend the Act of 2012 to make provisions for the training of health cadres in the specialized medical field of oncology to include the cancer treatment as part of the provincials of the primary healthcare in the country, and to incorporate the use of e-health and telemedicine in our country. The members are also expected on the Committee of the Whole House to debate on the Land Amendment Bill of 2022 that is brought by Honorable Simon Kingara, the Member of Parliament, which is expected to amend the Land Act number 6 of the 2012 in order to provide that where public land has been allocated to a public body or a public institution by the National Land Commission, NLC, for a public purpose, or whether the land set aside by persons or land buying companies for a public purpose. That is, the Registrar of Lands under the Land Registration Act of 2012 shall issue a certificate of title in the name of the public body, public institution, or the relevant ministry, as the case may be. As it is presently, public land and land set aside for a public purpose by land buying companies continue to be grabbed by private persons, primarily because there exists no certificates of title issued in respect to the said land or such land. This bill by Honorable Simon Kingara seeks to provide for the registration of public lands. It does not delegate legislative powers, neither does it limit fundamental rights and freedoms. It also seeks to amend the Land Act so as to provide for the registration of public land and land set aside for a public purpose. In view of this, the bill does not concern county governments in terms of Article 110(1)(a) of our Constitution, as it does not affect the functions nor the powers of the county government recognized in the fourth schedule to the Constitution. And this enactment of the Land Amendment Bill, the National Assembly Bill number 40 of 2024, does not and shall not occasion additional expenditure of public funds. That is the bill that is expected to come up in this morning session, the third session of the morning sitting, today being Wednesday, March 13th. Also, the members of Parliament will be deliberating on a motion on the development of a satellite-based climate change monitoring policy by the Member of Parliament, Abdul Haro. The House resolves.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Wednesday, 13th March 2024, morning sitting. Reports of the Auditor General and financial statements for the year ended 30 June 2023 and the certificates therein in respect of 1. Railway Development Levy Fund Holding Account, State Department for Transport. 2. GCF Project Preparation Facility Devolved Climate Change Governance to Strengthen Resilience of Communities in Target Counties. Project number KN-PPF-010-National Environmental Management Authority. Kenya Water Security and Climate Resilience Project Grant number TFOA 0761A and credit number 5268-5674 KE, State Department for Water and Sanitation. For Kenya Rural Transformation Centers Digital Platform Project, Cooperative University of Kenya. 5. Kenya Slum Upgrading Low Cost Housing and Infrastructure Trust Fund, State Department for Housing and Urban Development. And lastly, 6. National Quality Control Laboratory. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay.
Next order. Order number 6, notices of motion. Order number 7, questions and statements.
Honorable Mutuse, you have a statement?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise to ask question number 044 of 2024 as contained in the order paper as follows. Could the National Land Commission, 1, explain reasons for delayed payment of compensation to residents whose land was compulsorily acquired for the construction of Kibwezi-Kitui Road, and also land that was compulsorily acquired for parking of lorries in Kibwezi town in the year 2017. 2, state when the owners of the compulsorily acquired parcels of land and plots will be compensated, and whether the National Land Commission has any plans to review the compensation upwards, given that the payment has been delayed since 2017. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Is there any other statement? Yeah, Honorable Haro.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to ask question 056 of 2024 as contained in the order paper. Could the Teacher Service Commission, A1, explain the circumstances that led to the delay in workmanship compensation of Mr. Mohammed Sheikh Ibrahim of ID number 9566896 and TSC number 274712, since he was involved in a road accident on 27th December 1994 while on official duty. 2, state the actions taken to support his recovery, considering that he suffered extensive brain damage which adversely affected both his eyes and memory. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Both questions will be responded to as follows. The question from the Honorable Member for Honorable Mwengi Mutuse will be replied to before the Departmental Committee of Lands, and the one by the Honorable Abdul Haro will be responded to by the Teacher Service Commission. Maybe the respective chairpersons can confirm how long that will take. Chairman Education and the Chairman of Lands.
Madam Speaker, will respond after 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Order number 8, the Cotton Industry Development Bill, Senate Bill number 4. Question to be put.
Honorable members, I now put the question. We are on order number 8, right? Yeah, honorable members, I now put the question that the Cotton Industry Development Bill, Senate Bill number 5 of 2023, be read a second time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next order.
The Cotton Industry Development Bill, a bill for an act of parliament to provide for the production, processing, marketing, and distribution of cotton in Kenya and its products, establish the Cotton Industry Development Board, provide a framework for cotton farming, ensure value addition to cotton and its related products, and for connected purposes.
Next order.
Order number 9, the Kenya Sign Language Bill, National Assembly Bill number 1 of 2024, first reading. A bill for an act of parliament to give effect to Articles 7, 3B, 44, 50, 52M, 54, 54, 1D, and 120 of the Constitution to establish the Kenya Sign Language Council for the regulation of sign language interpretation in Kenya and to provide for the recognition, promotion, and use of Kenya Sign Language and for connected purposes.
Next order.
Order number 10, the Whistleblower Protection Bill, National Assembly Bill number 56 of 2023, first reading. A bill for an act of parliament to provide for the procedure for the disclosure of information relating to improper conduct in the public and private sectors, to provide for the protection of persons who make such disclosure against victimization and for connected purposes.
Next order.
Order number 11, Committee of the Whole House.
Honorable members, please be seated. So, honorable members, we are in the Committee of the Whole House. We are going to consider the following bills: the Land Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 40 of 2022. The second one will be the Cancer Prevention and Control Amendment number 2 Bill, National Assembly Bill number 45 of 2022, and the Penal Code Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 56 of 2022.
Clause 3.
I propose the question that clause 3 be part of the bill. There be no amendment. I put the question that clause 3 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I'd like to find out whether the Honorable Kengara is in the house. If you are, please approach the table.
Clause 2.
I propose that the question that clause 2 be part of the bill. There be no amendment. I put the question that clause 2 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Title.
I propose a question that the title be the title of the bill. I put the question that the title be the title of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 1.
I propose that clause 1 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I'd like to call upon the Deputy Majority Leader to report closing on behalf of the member who is absent.
Okay. On Chairperson, I beg to move that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Land Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 40 of 2022, and its approval thereof with or without amendment. Without amendment. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Give a point of order. Okay. Yes, just allow me to say something on this matter. It's unfortunate that the member who's the sponsor of the bill is not even present in the House. So I think I was asking the Deputy Majority Leader that in future, if the member is not present, we should just remove that particular proposal out of the order paper. Because if they are not committed enough to be here in the House, then there is no point. So I'm requesting that you put that before the House Business Committee so that it can be a proper direction from the substantive speaker so it doesn't happen again. Even for the matters that were being read for a second time, for the exception of Honorable Emase, who's sponsoring the cotton bill, she's here. But the sponsor of the sign language bill was also not present in the House. So I think it is something that we must, in order to instill a spirit of excellence in the House. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Dr. Nyikal, member for Seme.
Thank you, Chair. On exactly the same note that has been raised with the Honorable Member, maybe we'll seek your guidance that if this was a private member's bill, and now the person who is actually answering is a deputy leader of majority, is that really in order? Because if it was a government bill or sponsored by the leader of majority, then practically that would probably be right. Are we in order to actually proceed as we have done? Thank you.
Well, honorable members, it is important to note that this is a very important bill. It concerns registration of public land, which is a big issue, even within the Departmental Committee on Lands. As concerns the matters that has been raised by the Honorable Dr. Nyikal, whether it is in order for us to proceed, it is in order for us to proceed. And the Deputy Majority Leader is going to proceed to move reporting on behalf of the Honorable Kengara, because this bill is already a property of this House. But before we continue, I would like to request the Deputy Leader of Majority to make a comment on what the Deputy Speaker has said. And I'll also be requesting you to put on record moving on reporting again. There was a slight error. So you can start with the matter raised by the Deputy Speaker, and then we'll give you another chance now to put on record again moving reporting. You may proceed.
Thank you. Thank you.
I see a lot of interest in this, honorable members, and I do not want to gag members, so let us see those who have interest. We give them an opportunity. The Honorable Rahim Dawood. Oh, you are here. So then you do not have your chance because you're already at the table. The Honorable Charles Ngusia.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. I just want to strike all the sentiments that were done by our speaker here and also a member for Seme constituency. Madam Chair, I think we don't have proper explanation what we are already passing, and I wish we could have delayed this issue so that the person who presented the amendments can explain to the House why we need this amendment. Chair, I seek your guidance on this, Chair.
The Honorable Moses Ijendi, member for Malava.
Madam Speaker, I'm following up on Honorable Sholei's comment. Madam Speaker, as per the Speaker's ruling sometimes back, when a member is not available, he normally does a letter indicating the person that he would like or she would like to stand in for him. So, Madam Speaker, maybe it's important before we reach that decision to know whether the clerk's office communicated to the member about this particular bill, and whether this member, after being communicated to, actually authorized the Deputy Speaker to move in his absence. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Tindi Mwale, member for Butere.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, Madam Chair. I also want to comment on the weighty issue which has been presented by the Deputy Speaker. Madam Speaker, just as you have alluded some seconds ago, this bill is no longer a personal bill, a private member's bill. The moment the bill is presented to this House, it becomes the property of this House. And therefore, Madam Speaker, considering the weighty issues that this bill is going to address in this country, I was of the opinion that we consider the bill to go on even if the member who sponsored is not present. But the issue of the Deputy Majority Leader being the one to present on behalf of the private member is a weighty issue, because for him, he should present bills that are government-sponsored, not private member-sponsored. And that's where we need to clarify if that's the case. If that's not the case, then we can give another member to present on behalf of the private member. Thank you very much.
Honorable Deputy Majority Leader, would you like to take your, I know we had given you an opportunity, the Honorable Rahim Dawood, member for North Imenti. Please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I am cognizant of what the Deputy Speaker has said, but Madam Chair, we did not know more. We've been waiting for it to be slated by the House Business Committee, the bills which we are doing today. So maybe the member was not aware that it would be put today, because we were expecting it even last week, the week before. So maybe the member is not around, he's out of the country, so he could not be here. So I believe the Majority Leader should be in his right place to move this bill, Madam Speaker. Because if we don't do it, then private members will have a big issue with their bills, because we are never sure when they're coming. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Honorable members, thank you very much for your comments, and thank you very much, the Honorable Deputy Speaker, for this matter that you have raised. Honorable members, I would like to inform you that the Honorable Kengara was duly informed that this bill will be on the floor of the House this morning. We had also cited him within the vicinity of Parliament, and since the Deputy Majority Leader has, and I can see him already walking in, you may need to consult with the Deputy Majority Leader before we proceed. But honorable members, this matter has already gone beyond the Honorable Kengara. We are already in the Committee of the Whole House. We've already handled the amendments as they were raised. So I order that we continue. And I give an opportunity to the Deputy Majority Leader.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. Honorable Chairperson, it is imperative that members who have matters slated to come, especially Wednesdays morning, which we know are private members' matters, should come to the House to avoid situations where we must step in to do things for them. Honorable Speaker, you know, sometimes this Wednesday session, I don't have to be here. Actually, the whip doesn't have to be here. Because members, personal matters, they need to lobby members, to push members to come to the chamber and galvanize for their votes. But what they do now, they make it difficult for us to start galvanizing and moving and, you know, lobbying members on their behalf, even when they have not even talked to us about their business. So, Honorable Speaker, what I would like to request every member who has a motion, who has a bill, something that is going to third reading, please ensure you come, mobilize members. Today I had to actually go to the T area and all those areas to look for quorum, to save members' bills. It is not the responsibility of the leadership to mobilize for you. Mobilize your own people. Mobilize your members to come and support you in your bill. Today, the 3 bills have been read here. First reading, 3 bills. And all of them are not here. The Honorable Kasalu is not here. The Honorable, the one for Cotton. The Cotton one is here. But the bill on Kenya Sign Language, Umulher, is not here. And yet their bills are coming for first reading. Honorable Speaker, I would like to request members, if we have matters that are coming, and the clerk's office is very good, it sends SMSs to everybody to tell them about the matters that are coming. So I think we are honorable members, we need to live to the tag and please be in the House so that we can conduct business, so that we can have robust debate, so that these motions, which are of importance to the nation, be given due response by other members. Otherwise, Honorable Speaker, it's very discouraging to have situations like that. But I am happy the Honorable Kingara, a very responsible member, I served with him in the Committee for Lands, and he has a lot of interest in the land matters. And the history of this bill, Honorable Speaker, I think in the last session, second session, it suffered the unfortunate situation that it was shut down when people confused it for another bill. So on that basis, I want to request that we give him an opportunity to move to reporting and we complete this bill, which is very, very important. It's a bill I understand. I know it very well. I saw the genesis of it. And Honorable Kingara is an honorable gentleman. And Honorable Chair, give him a space to move his bill for reporting. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Deputy Majority. I am now going to give you an opportunity to move reporting.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. May I start by apologizing of not being here. I was here in the morning. It outcropped a security issue in Ruto where County Commissioner was involved, and I had to trust there was that my duty. We are almost losing a life, and we had to settle for that. I'm very sorry for that, but God has made it able for me to come back and continue with the business which have been employed by loyal people to undertake. And may I, Honorable Chair, I beg to move the committee do report to the House in consideration of the Land Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 40 of 2022, and its approval thereof without amendment. Thank you.
Thank you, Mover, Honorable Kingara. Honorable members, I put the question, which is that the committee do report to and its approval without amendments. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Honorable members, we have concluded on that bill, and now we are moving to the Cancer Prevention and Control Amendment Bill, number 2. National Assembly Bill number 45 of 2022. And the Honorable Abdul Rahim Dawood is in the House. But before that, honorable members, I would like to acknowledge our guests. Honorable members, seated in the public gallery this morning, we have Getaru Brigati Rawa School from Kabete constituency in Kiambu County. We have Mwangaza Secondary School from Maragua constituency in Murang'a County. Also seated in the speakers gallery this morning, we have Kanabiti Secondary School from Maragua in Murang'a County, and we have Leshau Secondary School from Maragua constituency in Murang'a County. You are all welcome to observe proceedings in the National Assembly. Honorable members, we will now proceed to the Cancer Prevention and Control Amendment Bill.
Clause 3.
Honorable members, I propose the question that clause 3 be part of the bill. It has an amendment by the Chair Health. I can see the Vice Chair in the House. You may proceed. Honorable Munene.
Thank you, Chair. On the Cancer Amendment Bill, Chair, clause number 3, I move that clause 3 of the bill may be amended as follows, Chair. Number 1, in the proposed new paragraph BA, by deleting the words persons with. Number 2, Chair, I move in the proposed new paragraph BB by deleting the word treatment and substituting therefore the words the management. And number 3, by inserting the following new paragraph immediately after the proposed new paragraph BB with a BC, to secure and regulate the use of e-health in cancer management and the provision of cancer diagnosis, treatment and rehabilitation services, and other medical care related to cancer. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable members, I propose the question that clause 3, as amended, be amended as proposed by the Vice Chair. Deputy Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. I just thought I would use this opportunity to remind the House that even as we discuss about amending the Cancer Prevention Bill, we also need to remind ourselves that despite a petition that I brought before this House in 2019, which can help us further prevent cancer by ensuring the removal of 262 pesticide products that have been confirmed by world science as causing cancer. In fact, they were not only confirmed by world science, but persons who developed cancer as a result of those pesticides continue to be sold in this country. Yet the persons in the United States and Europe got an order from the United States Superior Courts in California where the farmers were paid up to $250 million for developing cancer as a result of the use of these pesticides. So if we truly, and I'm asking the honorable member who has brought this amendment, that if we are truly committed to this cancer prevention, then the first stop is to stop the products that are clearly causing cancer and are known. And this has been brought before the Pest Products Control Board several times. They have been incorrigible. They have continued to be in bed with the agrochemical companies. And in fact, recently, I know they were appearing before the Health Committee. And honorable member, you know very well, you were a member of the Health Committee when I appeared before the Health Committee. The Health Committee, instead of ordering that those products be removed from the Kenyan market, the committee was irresponsible by leaving it back to the vultures who are the Pest Products Control Board, telling them, please remove them from the market. So far, since 2019, they have only removed 7 products. The rest continue to remain on the market. Roundup, people who got confirmed Roundup gave people cancer. They were removed from the markets abroad. But here in Kenya, they are being resold under a different name. All those products are in our market. It is known to the authorities. It is known to the health committee. So actually, what we are doing in amending that bill is counterproductive. The real amendment should be dealing with this. And I think it's one of the things we should be asking in the House, why is the health committee not acting? The first health committee in the 12th parliament did not act. The second health committee in this 13th parliament has not acted. The Pest Products Control Board has not acted. The Ministry of Agriculture has not acted. Yet these are known facts. And those products are actually manufactured in Europe and America. But in those countries, they are not allowed to be used. They are allowed to manufacture them for export to foolish countries like Kenya, who are foolish enough to allow the product into their country to continue to kill their members of public. Thank you, Honorable Chairperson.
Yeah, the Honorable Dr. Nyikal, and you may make your comments short. Make the comments short.
Madam Chair, mine will be very short.
I'll give you a chance because your committee has been mentioned.
The Deputy Speaker, I agree with her, but that really belongs to the third reading. Me, I'm just coming up to support the amendments. And in the third reading, I'll also actually support her further. But I do support these amendments. I have actually made a proposal before for similar amendments, so I support these ones. Like in number 1, persons with was actually superfluous. It just needed to end with management and treatment. You didn't have to add persons with. So that I support. The word treatment to be replaced by management makes sense because treatment is narrow. It's just the application of medicine, while management is more comprehensive, indicating nutrition, psychological care, and all those. So I support that. And then 3, the e-health. I support this, but again, in the third reading, we have noticed something that as much as we are very keen with digitization, there are problems that are rising. So, Madam Speaker, I support the amendments.
The Vice Chair.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay.
Chair, I start on behalf of the Health Committee to say 2 things. 1, I've had a long discussion with the Deputy Speaker, Madam Chair, on the issue of pesticides in this country and regulation of pesticides in this country. It's an issue I've conversed with her severally, and it's true I sat in the last Parliament in the Health Committee, and she brought that matter in Parliament, and it was brought to the Health Committee. But the Health Committee didn't behave irresponsibly, Chair. We sent the matter to the responsible organ, the PCB, and we have discussed with the Deputy Chair that we have a problem at Pesticide Control Board. As she has put it lightly, they are in bed with these companies. Because, Chair, in this country, you go to a company that is doing agriculture, maybe vegetables, onions, and you find there are 2 categories of vegetables. 1 meant for Kenyan, and 2 meant for export. There are chemicals that they can't use for those that are meant for export. Those that are meant for export, they use good chemicals, but those that are to be consumed locally, Chair, they use these pesticides that have been banned across the country. So,
thank
Chair,
you. Vice Chair, then I order that the matter concerning the petition be handled differently, so that we can focus on this bill. But I say the Deputy Speaker was supporting the amendment.
Yes.
She has actually raised a very important matter, which you can pick up at another time.
Yes, and I'm concurring with that, Chair. What she has listed is true, and she has talked to me severally on the same.
Thank you. The Honorable Gekaria will be the last one on this.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Speaker, Chair, I want to support the Deputy Speaker. Honorable Chair, and more so to reiterate on the Committee on Implementation. The Committee on Implementation, once Parliament has spoken, the required period of time that is supposed to be taken, and then the Committee of Implementation should take up that matter and be able to make a follow-up. If a decision had already been done, and maybe the ministry is lagging its feet, then again the Committee on Implementation. And rightly, as the Deputy Speaker said, Honorable Chair, we must stop this madness where people, they cause cancer, they send us to us, they don't use it in the country. Then they bring it here, At the same time, again, we are forced to buy medicine from the same. Honorable Chair, I think as much as we support this, what the Deputy Speaker said should be taken into consideration with a lot of serious.
Thank you. You have made your point. Honorable members, I now put the question that clause 3 as amended. I'll take that again. I now put the question that clause 3 be amended as proposed by the Vice Chair. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 3 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 4.
I now propose the question that clause 4 be part of the bill. It has an amendment, Vice Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I move that clause 4 of the bill be amended by deleting the proposed new subsection 3 and substituting thereof the following new subsection 3. The Institute shall collaborate with the national government, universities, colleges, and the private sector to promote the training of oncology professionals. By the Institute, Chair, we are referring to the Cancer Institute of Kenya. I move, Chair.
Thank you. I propose the question that clause 4 be amended as proposed by the Vice Chair. I don't see any interest in this. There is interest on board, Dr. Nyikal?
Always. Thank you, Chair. I rise to support this. Cancer is an important issue. And if you do not have collaborative effort, you really cannot. Therefore, these amendments brings universities, colleges, private sector, and training institutions, particularly the training of oncologists. That's where the thing lies. So this is a very, very important amendment, and I support.
The Honorable Owen Bayer, do you have interest in this? No. I now put the question that clause 4 be amended as proposed by the Vice Chair. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 4 be, as amended, be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 2.
I propose the question that clause 2 be part of the bill. There be no amendment. I put the question that clause 2 be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Title.
I propose the question that the title be the title of the bill. I now put the question that the title be the title of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? I am going to take that again. Will as many as have of that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 1.
I propose the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Honorable members, we have come to the end. I would like now to call the mover to move reporting. The Honorable Dawood.
Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Cancer Prevention and Control Amendment Bill, Bill number 2, National Assembly Bill number 45 of 2022, and its approval thereon with amendments.
Thank you, Honorable Dawood. I now put the question, which is that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Cancer Prevention and Control Amendment Bill, number 2 Bill, National Assembly Bill number 45 of 2022, and its approval with amendments. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Honorable members, having established that the Honorable David Gikaria, CBS, is in the House, we now move to the Penal Code Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 56 of 2022.
Clause 2.
Honorable members, I propose that Clause 2 be part of the bill. There be no amendment. I now put the question that Clause 2 be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Title.
I propose the question that the title be the title of the bill. Will as many as have that... I now put the question that the title be the title of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 1.
I propose the question that Clause 1 be part of the bill. I now put the question that Clause 1 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? I am going to take that again. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Honorable members, I thank you very much. We have concluded the 3 bills that were to be considered this morning. And before I call upon the mover to move reporting, I would like to welcome our guests. Honorable members, seated in the Speaker's Gallery this morning, we have Thika High School for the Blind from Thika Constituency, Kiambu County. I welcome you to the National Assembly to continue observing proceedings of the House. Honorable members, I would like to call the Honorable Gikaria to move reporting.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the Penal Code Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 56 of 2022, be now read a 3rd time, and also request Honorable Kengara, Honorable, to second.
Thank you, Honorable Gikaria. Honorable members, I put the question, which is that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Penal Code Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 56 of 2022, and its consideration without amendments. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Honorable members, we are now going back to plenary.
Honorable members, Mr. Speaker.
Can we have the mover? I call the chairperson for reporting on the Land Amendment Bill Bill number 40 of 2022.
Thank you. Honorable Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole House has considered the Land Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 40 of 2022, and approved the same without amendments.
Thank you. The mover.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. I also request Honorable Gekaria to second the motion for agreement with the report of the Committee of the Whole House. Honorable Gekaria, please.
Then do it quickly. Do it quickly then. And then you move to the next one.
I second.
Thank you. Members, I propose the question, which is that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. If there's nobody talking on this, I'm told it's a point of order from you. Members, for obvious reasons, we will put the question on this matter in the next sitting. Yes, Honorable Nyamai. Honorable Nyamai?
I just wanted to make some comments.
We are still dealing with the Land Amendment Bill. Yes, go ahead, Mheshimiwa.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. May I start by thanking honorable members for coming early to support this amendment bill, Land Amendment Bill, which is going to lock public utility. Because my concern, Honorable Speaker,
the member on the floor, you just moved this for adoption.
Yeah.
You can't contribute to it.
Yeah, thank you. Due to lack of quorum,
the honorable members have guided that the question on this particular bill for adoption will be put in the next sitting. So we'll move to the next bill, which is the Cancer Prevention and Control Bill, Amendment Bill number 2 of 2022. I would therefore call upon the chairperson to move.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole House has considered the Cancer Prevention and Control Amendment Bill number 2, National Assembly Bill number 45 of 2022, and approved the same with amendments.
Thank you. The move of this bill. Honorable Dawood.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the House do agree with the committee of the said report. I also request Honorable Modoni to second the motion for agreement with the report of the Committee of the Whole House.
Honorable Modoni. Honorable Modoni is in the house. Okay, go ahead. Honorable Modoni is up there.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I second this bill. Thank you.
Okay, honorable members, I therefore propose the question, which is that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. Anybody talking on this matter? The Honorable Nyamai, you wanted to contribute on this matter? No? Okay. The Honorable Fire. The Honorable Bayer.
Honorable Speaker, due to the import of the matters that have been canvassed and the reporting that has been made, and the importance of these bills. Honorable Speaker, I would request that we defer to put the question in the next session when we are ready to do that. But right now, I would request that you defer putting the question. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. The putting of the question on the adoption of that report on this report is accordingly deferred to the next time this bill comes up for consideration in the House. The next bill is the Penal Code Amendment Bill number 56 of 2023.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole House has considered the Penal Code Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 56 of 2022, and approved the same without amendments.
Thank you, Honorable Gikaria, the mover.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I beg to move that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. I also request Honorable Jane Kihara to second the motion for agreement with the report of the Committee of the Whole House.
The Honorable Kihara. Give the mic to Honorable Kihara.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In this country, we have got laws that are outdated. So we are in a free country where free movement, free speech is allowed, and some of the penalties given to people in those petty offenses must move with the times. I second.
Thank you. All members, I do propose the question that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. Honorable Speaker. Honorable Baya.
Honorable Speaker, I beg your indulgence that we defer putting the question on this matter. It's an important matter, and it is important that this matter, the question be put next time so that we can achieve what we need to achieve as a parliament. So I request and indulge you that you defer putting the question. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. The decision on the adoption of that report is therefore put to the next time this report comes up for consideration in the House. Next order.
Order number 12, motion. Development of a satellite-based climate change monitoring policy. Resumption of debate.
Thank you. Before I call the Honorable Abdul, all members join me in welcoming students from Harambee Junior School, from Makarada constituency in Nairobi, and students from Ibiriga Day Secondary School, from Chuka, Igamangombe, Tharaka Nithi. They are welcome to follow the proceedings of the House from the public gallery. Thank you. The Honorable Abdul Haro is in the House. So, remember, we are resuming debate on the Honorable Abdul Haro's motion on the development of a satellite-based climate change monitoring policy. So there's one on the floor. If anybody wants to contribute on this, I can see the Honorable Peter Kihungi, the Honorable Nyikal, the Honorable Patrick Ntwiga. I know you want this for something else. You're allowed, but then you contribute on this matter.
Thank you, Chair. Mine was just small, Chair. I just wanted to welcome my students from Ibiriga Day Secondary School in this house and to tell them to feel welcomed. It's a school I love so much, and to follow how we do things in this house and how we serve them in this house. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. The Honorable Rahim Dawood, you want to contribute on this satellite-based climate change? Go ahead.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to congratulate Honorable Abdul Haro on bringing this bill. Honorable Speaker, the times have changed, the world has changed. And Mr. Speaker, the kind of information we are getting regarding the weather patterns and climate change and all that, we need to move away from the manual or the systems which, Honorable Speaker, I would request if you could ask the members to...
Members on the aisle from the minority side, the Honorable Mbadi, the Honorable Atandi and company. Allow the Honorable Dawood to be able to hear himself as he contributes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think Honorable Badi now wants to be the chair of ODM. So, I mean, the leader, party leader. I support him in that, although I'm not in ODM. Kingpin. Honorable Speaker, like I was saying, we need to move away from the ways in which we predict our weather due to the climate change. Mr. Speaker, we have gone very far in technology, and by this satellite-based climate change, we need to see how we are going to put the satellites which are owned by Kenya into space so that we can predict our weather more it should be more predictable and should be easier to maintain. Mr. Speaker, we should not just be doing those interventions that way. We need to see how we are going to stop the droughts affecting our people. Mr. Speaker, when we have El Nino rains, it is a pity that we cannot take advantage of all the water which just goes to waste instead of that water which could be used during drought seasons, Mr. Speaker. And we are expecting soon the rains will be coming, hopefully in the next 1 or 2 weeks. Mr. Speaker, we need to put interventions in place so that we can protect our people who year in, year out have droughts and are suffering. The animals are suffering, the people are suffering. Mr. Speaker, we should take an example from some countries in the Middle East who have got dry weather where they do not even have rainfall, but they still are producers of the best fruits together with vegetables. So, Mr. Speaker, with the interventions which Honorable Haro has proposed, I think we need to go that way. We need to up our technology because we cannot be left in the archaic of 1960s. People are moving to 2200 and we are still left behind. With those few remarks, Mr. Speaker, I support.
For Samburu East.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to put my voice in this satellite climate change. Mr. Speaker, climate change is real. There's a lot of effect due to this climate change. So it becomes very important even for monitoring what is happening. And Mr. Speaker, we are really hit by the climate change recently, and it is real. We really need to work as a country so that the climate change can be monitored easily. And when these satellites are put up, Mr. Speaker, it will try to solve this issue. And Mr. Speaker, there is a lot of things happening which we really need to monitor due to this climate change. It's a very good idea, important, it will help us. And I think, Mr. Speaker, Nowadays, if you see maybe where we used to expect the rain, as maybe now we are expecting long rains in some other parts of Kenya, it may not rain due to this climate change. So I think it is very important for us to support this so that it can be easily monitored and we'll be able to tackle the climate change at this moment. So I think, Mr. Speaker, this is a very good idea, and we really need to support it so that we can see how we can go about this climate change. Otherwise, Mr. Speaker, I support. Thank you.
The Honorable Phyllis Bato on this matter, right?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to also make a contribution on this very important motion on development of a satellite-based climate change authority policy. I would want to also thank the Honorable Member, Abdul Arrow, for bringing this motion to the House. Mr. Speaker, information technology has gained a lot of relevance in the history of mankind, and in Kenya, it should, and as a result, issues to do with climate should also be cognizant of the fact that data is very important in predicting the changes in the climate. Mr. Speaker, we have had cases of traditional usage of getting information to predict some events in the country. For example, when it's supposed to be raining, and even in matters of religion, Mr. Speaker, you will find that sometimes it is very difficult for our Muslim brothers and sisters to tell when Ramadan should begin because of the sighting of the moon. Yet, Mr. Speaker, such information can be predicted using information technology, and we will be able to budget for every issue, every idea which is about to happen. Mr. Speaker, we realize that sometimes when you want to travel, for instance, when you want to fly to maybe, for example, for me, to Eldoret, or you want to travel to any part of the world, you arrive there and it is raining. Otherwise, if we take advantage of the information technology, you will be able to get information timely and know what is happening in which part of the world. Mr. Speaker, I take a case of my constituency where we are supposed to be planting. This is a planting season. The farmers are out there waiting for, they receive mixed signals on when they are supposed to plant, when they are supposed to plow the land, when they are supposed to, when they are supposed to be participating or carrying out any farming activity by just guesswork, because we don't have clear data to predict the climate patterns which farmers can take advantage of. Mr. Speaker, right now, the farmers are queuing in National Cereals and Produce Board offices, or queuing for fertilizer. And at the same time, they don't know exactly when to plant. They are just imagining it's next week, it's 2 weeks to come, it's in April, it's in May. Those who are planting maize are supposed to have, sometimes in the past, planting season was supposed to start in March. Sometimes it moves to April. The wheat farmers are supposed to be planting wheat in June, July. That information is just guesswork, Mr. Speaker. If the the policy is developed and utilized so that information is timely. We will not have, the farmers are able to plan at the right, when to plant, when to harvest, and so on, because they will be having information. Mr. Speaker, information is power. And once they have information, they will be able to carry out their activities without any hitch. Mr. Speaker, we have scenarios where some places are very remote, Mr. Speaker. They don't get any information. And if we utilize this technology, we will be able to reach to the extreme parts of Kenya. Case of a case in time is when the government now is trying to get Wi-Fi to every regions of Kenya. So if that information is distributed likewise, everybody will be able to access, and everybody is going to have that data so that they are able to make plans at the right time. Mr. Speaker, because of not having a policy, a satellite-based policy to deal with climate, we have been left with very little information, and every community or every spaces in Kenya deal with the information in bits and pieces. Everybody deals with their own information in a way that they might not know what is going to happen next. Mr. Speaker, I believe this policy is going to shape all these spaces and and guide them on what to expect. Mr. Speaker, I think even the extreme climate changes we are facing in Kenya, for example, today, the issue of drought, the issue of floods, where some parts of Kenya, people suffer from floods, to an extreme that even it takes away lives. Animals die because of drought. This particular satellite-based policy is going to eradicate all this, because everybody will be having information on what is going to happen at what particular time in the year. And in that case, once you have that information, Mr. Speaker, you are going to adjust. You are going to plan your life. For instance, people are even supposed to be evacuated in flood, those areas which are supposed to be hit by the floods. And if it's done on time, so that we don't just get surprises. We don't just wake up in the morning and it is in the news that a whole village has been swept by floods. Or we realize that a whole village, animals are dying because of drought. And this information, we should have gotten it early enough for us to be able to plan, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, how I wish this satellite policy is established and it is implemented so that every part of the country is monitored. Every part of the country gets information. Every part of the country is given data on how to establish their behavioral patterns, so that they will be very much aware on what is happening every season, every time of their lives. We have had devastating effects on our communities, because some don't know. They use the traditional methods like the moon to predict what is going to happen. For example, we have cases of communities citing the moon to predict or to count the number of days they have to wait for it to rain. We have had some using the stars, looking at the alignment of the stars to predict what is going to, when the rains are going to, when it's going to rain, or when certain events are supposed to be happening. Mr. Speaker, gone are the days when we should be relying on such happenings in the 21st century. We should have a satellite-based policy which we should be using. We should just be like the other parts of the world, the first world, where technology has taken root, and you find that everything can be predicted and for an entire year, and people are given information for a whole year. So, Mr. Speaker, I support this motion, and I hope that it is given the support it deserves until the time the policy is well established and implemented and monitored to the best way possible. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and once more again, I support Abdul Arrow for bringing this motion to the House. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nikal.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity I rise to support this. Mr. Speaker, we have to live in the modern world. We cannot continue to do things in the old way. And climate monitoring and focusing is extremely important because there are very clear areas where we need to have this information. One is what everybody knows about is climate change. The climate is changing because of the weather patterns will differ, and we need to predict this so that we plan whatever we are doing in the short term and in the long term. If we don't have information, we cannot do that. Mr. Speaker, in this country, to a large extent, we still depend on rain-fed agriculture. And if you are going to depend on rain-fed agriculture, we have to know exactly when the rains are coming and then prepare the land and prepare the planting accordingly. We know that our farmers actually don't believe when we get prediction from our weather experts because we are not using up-to-date methodology. So that we plant when the rains are not coming and we lose the seeds, we lose the fertilizers. So this will make it predictable. In fact, in some countries, if there is prediction of when planting should be done and the rains don't come, the farmers can sue the meteorology departments. Now, we can't do that because we have not given them the technology that they require. So it is important. Mr. Speaker, look at air transport, even land transport. People move across the world, large numbers of people. We know that air transport is probably the safest. Being in a plane is 100 times safer than being in a car. And that is because we have to know the wind movement, rain movement, and all that. So that is extremely required. Even if you're not going in planes, even on the ground, even in the lake, we lose in the lakes. In Lake Victoria, for example, if we can predict and tell the fishermen that this is how the winds are going to be, this is how the currents are going to be, many people will be saved. And we can be accurate up to hours or even minutes if we use a satellite. So that is important. Mr. Speaker, we need also to predict animal migration, bird migration, even disease vectors. So if we can know that the birds are migrating this time, like now in the world, there's a problem that people are worried about. In the Arctic, in the island of I think St. George's, there is bird flu among the birds. Now, if we don't know how the birds are moving and we can't predict how the birds are moving, we can end up with an epidemic that we are not aware of. Even just mosquito control, we have been distributing nets. We actually need to know exactly when to distribute nets. When we are doing indoor residual spraying for control of mosquitoes, we need to know when the rains are going to be and when the mosquitoes will then breed, and when do we then give the nets, and when do we do the spraying. Disaster management, we're discussing a bill in the House on disaster management, disaster preparedness. The biggest disasters we have here are actually drought, floods, landslide. And all of these all are things that we can predict if we have good weather focusing and monitoring. And the only way to do it is to actually go digital and get these satellites in the air and protect our people, predict disasters, predict diseases, predict when to plant, and so that we live in harmony with the environment. With that, Mr. Speaker, I do support.
Thank you, the Honorable Member for Dagoretti South. You want to speak on this? Okay. The Honorable Yusuf. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to contribute to this motion by Honorable Haro. Mr. Speaker, now in this world, now being the era of technology, we need to embrace technology and IT. What Mr. Haro has today brought is something that we need to impress as a country. You can remember, Mr. Speaker, during the floods and the drought season, there was a lot of confusion when the meteorology department gave a warning on the floods and the drought. Even the president himself, Mr. Speaker, has doubted the verdict or the announcement by the meteorologists. That clearly shows the method that we are using now. It's outdated, it cannot be relied upon, it's not accurate, and it is time now to migrate from that kind of outdated technology to a new level of technology. Mr. Speaker, as we are aware, this country, a lot of things are happening. The country is shifting from analog to digital. And it is also the right time to shift from the original method of focusing to satellite way of doing. From where I come, Mr. Speaker, in northern Kenya, it is very, very difficult for the meteorologists and even the locals to understand, determine, and focus the weather. Mr. Speaker, the climate has changed. And now it has completely disrupted everything and everything that the traditional people were used to do. Mr. Speaker, people used to look at the moon, others used to look at the stars, others used to look at the sky to confirm and know exactly when the rains are near or when drought is coming. But now, since this climatical change has happened, everything went upside down. The people are unable to predict exactly what time will they expect rain, what time will be a drought season, and therefore, this must necessitate a different method of focusing on this kind of, focusing on weather. Mr. Speaker, on developed countries, for example, we're in the month of Ramadan, Mr. Speaker. In Saudi Arabia, they use satellites to see the moon before we see here in Kenya. That has clearly shifted the dimension of how the moon are sighted in this world. Now, it is the same thing. If we also use satellite to predict, to focus the weather and see exactly what time we're expecting rain, and people get prepared. Prepared in terms if there is a drought, the livestock, the pastoralists migrate to look for a better pasture and water, or if they're expecting rain, they can stay in their particular area. Mr. Speaker, this motion is a motion that came at the right time. It's a motion that we all need to support. It's a motion that we must all embrace as a country so that we get accurate data from the meteorologists. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Member for Mogosho.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This motion, as has been said by other members here, is a timely motion because in our country for far too long, we have been relying on traditional ways of forecasting. Some looking at the stars, some looking at the animal intestines to predict the weather patterns and whether the rain will rain or not. These have caused our farmers very serious losses in terms of planting and cattle keeping because you don't know the weather patterns and you don't know whether it will rain or not. And we rely on rainfall for our farming and our livestock. Mr. Speaker, it is more timely that we have this technology to be able to salvage our farmers so that when they are planting, they are sure that the rain will be adequate, so that our livestock keepers will know that whether there will be pasture or no pasture, they know that they can reduce the number of herds and the number of livestock to be able to survive through the hard climate change times that we are in. We are faced by serious climate change impacts from which is a global phenomenon, but the best we can do is to be able to prepare our people, our citizens, for such hard times and hard climate times, so that they be better fast with the knowledge of the changing patterns, because unlike before, the climate change has made the pattern different. Sometimes it's due to rain in April, it's due to rain in March, but sometimes you find raining in January, which is an odd phenomenon where some of us come from. So to be able to cure this, the best thing is that we embrace technology. The only way that we can embrace technology is supporting this motion, so that we are in a position as a country to lead through our population, to lead through our people in a more organized and more predictable times in terms of our climate patterns. Mr. Speaker, sometimes people resolve to be living in myth because of lack of this data and lack of the technology and information. In where I come from, Mr. Speaker, and sometimes I will wish when the Ministers of Environment come here, I will want to ask here, when it's about to rain in my place, there's an aeroplane which usually goes, something that it sprays, it has a cloud seeding that makes the rain to disappear. So to avoid such and to be able to be in a more safer in terms of preparedness environment, let's support this motion. I support, Mr. Speaker. It is the wish of this House, it is the wish of this nation that we caution. We are here on behalf of the people. Our interest is that of the people. The more we can safeguard these people from losses such as planting, when we know, well, there will not be enough rain to sustain those maize or maybe beans or what have you, will be leading them into more losses. And to save them from side losses, Mr. Speaker, we support this motion. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Members, there being no further interest from this matter, I call upon the mover now to reply. I cannot see your card. No problem, Molu. You just put the card now. You want to speak on this? Okay, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving the opportunity to add my voice on this motion. Honorable Speaker, it is true there are changes and changes of time. The world is changing. We are changing from being where we come from, bush, from being a stone age, growing to be somewhere in technology. Sometimes in this country, we normally listen to weatherman. I don't know whether it's the equipment normally used or the system used to get the rain forecast, to get the advice of what's happening with the weather. But if to embrace technology is going to cure these challenges, it is going to help. Sometimes, last year, you were able to see how the climate change and affected some areas like Kajiado, also Isiolo, towards to Kambani region. The full area was dry. The only advice we had from the weatherman, he said that they are going to be a very heavy rain. He gave the whole country. The scenario which he gave is like we are expecting some massive rain coming somewhere, which Kenyans we are told to be ready for a very big rain. To be point and factual to weatherman, it is true he said there will be a lot of rain. We Kenyans, we are happy to have the rain because you can see even what is happening in the country. What has happened in the country, because we have water, the country is green, the harvest is good, you can get milk, you can get maize cheap because of the rain.
So this is why we say that it is very important if we can employ technology and the weatherman give us the exact number, the exact reading of latitude, the exact reading of when the rain is coming, it will be better for the country. And that's why I raise to support the motion. And also not only say it is timely, it must be implemented. Honorable Speaker, we have been passing many motions in this House. Many motions in the other parliament, we went through them, we passed them. I can see them coming back again in just language of drafting. So it is always important we see implementation committee. When we pass the motion, how far it go? How did the the government departmental agencies handle this issue? So thank you for giving this chance, and I support, and I tell the weatherman, please, scientifically, we want you to be factual to the technology, not be like herbalist. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Member for Ganze, Honorable Charo Kazungu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. I want also to say that I support this motion by my dear friend, the Honorable Haro. And I want to say that it is a motion that has come in a very timely moment. And as a country right now, Mr. Speaker, we have no otherwise but to embrace technology, especially in predicting the weather and mitigating the effects of climate change. Mr. Speaker, as a country, we have been using archaic technology to predict the weather. That's why most of the time as a country, we have been way off the mark. And this is happening because we are using technology that is outdated. Case in point, Mr. Speaker, last year, there was a prediction that there will be El Nino. And then somewhere midway, the El Nino was downgraded. And it was said that it will only be some rains, though they'll be a bit heavy, but it will not be El Nino. Only, Mr. Speaker, it happened that actually it is an El Nino that happened. And this was occasioned by the fact that maybe the kind of technology that we are using to predict the weather in the country is not of the required modern technology. So we have seen that things have changed nowadays. And the era or the days where we used to look at the stars, we used to look at the position of the moon to maybe forecast what is going to happen in terms of weather, those days are long gone. And the trend currently is people to use the satellite technology. So as a country, we need to adapt this technology as fast as possible. I have listened to my colleagues contributing to this motion, and all of them are talking about how this technology will assist farmers to do timely planting and also to plan on how they're going to go about tilling their land. But also, Mr. Speaker, this technology will not only help farmers, but also the government in planning for service delivery. We know that when planning to do roads, we need also to know to exactly know the conditions of the weather at that particular time, because it will be foolhardy for a government to plan on rehabilitation of roads only for them to be washed away the next day because they did not have a good understanding of the weather patterns of that area. So much as we are saying this is a technology that can assist our farmers, but it can also go a long way in helping the government to plan to deliver services to wananchi. Again, technology will help the government in disaster preparedness. Case in point, like what happened during the drought last year. This kind of drought caught the government flat-footed. It had not planned for it. That's why we had to come here in Parliament and use the Article 223 of the Constitution to do some emergency relief supplies to the areas affected by the drought. Had the government, if the government had modern technology to predict the weather, I think such scenarios would have been forecasted a long time ago, and the government would have prepared well to avert such kind of situations. So with those few remarks, I want to say this is a very timely motion, and we need as Parliament to support it. And again, after we pass it, the motion here in Parliament, it is now the onus of the government to make sure that it is implemented so that Kenyans can get the benefits of it. With those few remarks, I support. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Member for Kitutu Chache North, Honorable Japheth Nakundi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also want to support this motion on development on satellite-based climate change. You know the world has gone digital, and as a country, we have been left behind in terms of the weather forecast and the rest. You know, like last year, at a time like this, we were told that there is no El Nino, and for sure, later on, we came and found out that there was a lot of El Nino, which made us come back to this house and make sure that we pass some few bills here and there to make sure that people from other areas get relief food that were affected by the El Nino. So I want to support this motion, Mr. Speaker, because as you know, last year, most of the time we are told that there is rain and there is no rain. This setting up of the satellite and going digital will help even the government and the farmers to prepare enough in terms of the planting season, in terms of the harvesting season. And you know, like last year, we had a very good weather, which made us get a lot of produce. Last year, we got maize from, our bags moved from 40 million bags to about 67 million bags. But if we go digital, we'll be able to know quite enough. We'll be able to arrange ourselves, or the government will be able to arrange itself in terms of when to give out, even if it's fertilizer. You know, this time the rains will be coming. This time is the time we are going to harvest. So it will be able to assist us in terms of our preparedness, in terms of agriculture, in terms of other things. So I want to support this motion, and I say I'm part of this motion, and we will surely support this motion. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Member for Alego Usonga.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to support this motion. Honorable Speaker, climate change is today the biggest conversation globally. And the world over, each and every country is looking for ways in which they can be able to manage the effects of climate change. And the reason why this is happening, Honorable Speaker, is because in our everyday life, we are meeting the effects of climate change. From rising temperatures, from unpredictable rainfalls, from drought and all these issues. So, Honorable Speaker, it is really late for us that to date we do not have a scientific way of checking or knowing predicting the climatic issues, the climate change issues. Honorable Speaker, today it is normal for the weather people to predict that there will be rainfall tomorrow, or there will be no rainfall, or vice versa. And when you wake up, the reverse happens. Like when they predict that there will be rainfall, it doesn't rain. So, Honorable Speaker, this is happening because as a country, we have not determined a scientific and predictable way of determining the climatic situations. So, Honorable Speaker, this is the reason why I think this motion is timely, and I would like to urge government that once this motion is passed, we need to see government moving quickly and adopting this motion as has been passed here in the House. Honorable Speaker, we cannot wait. We cannot wait. We cannot live in abyss. We cannot live in like we are living in the past, in the colonial, traditional way. In the past, our ancestors had traditional ways of checking and knowing, predicting the climatic issues. But today, we cannot do that. We must live in the modern times. And because the effects of climate change are so severe, it requires that we must be up to date. Honorable Speaker, that is my observation, and I want to support the motion. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Ariera, you want to speak on this motion? Okay. Okay. Well, members, that probably marks the end of debate on this motion. I will therefore now call upon the mover of this motion to reply. The Honorable Haro.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Speaker. Before I reply, I would like to give 2 minutes to Honorable Dorothy Mudhoni. She would want to make a contribution to this motion. And also 2 minutes to Honorable Makali Kandui.
Honorable Makali, I would advise you to just go up there and get a card. It's not here. That's why I've not given you so far. I can't see it. You don't want a chance. I can't see it. Honorable Ikiara, go ahead.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to really thank the mover of this motion, Honorable Haro, for bringing this very, very important motion before the floor of this House. As a country, Honorable Speaker, it's important and imperative for us to embrace technology. Honorable Speaker, this motion is very timely because as a country, we have in the last few years experienced severe climate changes, and developing a satellite-based climate change monitoring policy is the way to go. Technology will help us to accurately monitor and fast-track the climate weather patterns. Honorable Speaker, this information will not only be reliably used by the citizens, it will also help the government to plan for mitigation, mitigations through which they can be able to map out the country and know what to plan for the future. Honorable Speaker, we have had El Nino. It was not properly planned for. The government acted haphazardly. Honorable Speaker, if we embrace technology and this satellite, we will be able to know when every area will rain. We will be able to know which area is severely affected by drought. We should also be able to know which area we will plant which crop. So, Honorable Speaker, I really want to thank the mover of this motion, and I want to say this is the way to go. Embrace satellite technology. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable John Makali.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to also weigh in on this motion, despite the difficulties we're having with our cards. First, I wish to take this opportunity to thank the Honorable Member for bringing this motion. Coming after a successful climatic change conference held in this particular country. As a result of that conference, Honorable Speaker, you realize that we are having serious problems with the climatic change and the adverse effects of flooding and drought. And it's very important, therefore, Honorable Speaker, that we refocus back on investing in technology so that we can be able to weigh in on the adverse effects of climatic change. When we were growing up, Honorable Speaker, we used to use traditional methods of weather forecast. We remember the usual program on KBC of Ayub Shaka, trying to forecast the weather forecast for the following day. But we are now beyond that using the traditional systems. We now need to develop a policy, an IT policy, that will be able to ensure that we can be able to to monitor effectively and with some accuracy the effects of climatic change. And Honorable Speaker, no other ministry is better placed than the Ministry of Environment and Forestry to be able to take a pioneering lead in this particular exercise. We need to invest in information technology because that is one of the key elements this government is focusing on digital development. And it will be important, Honorable Speaker, that we can be able to invest in developer policy, that will be able to invest in IT and embrace technology as we have embraced in security matters in this particular country. Honorable Speaker, I wish to support the motion and pray that we put in place effective legislation to ensure that we have a policy that governs climatic change in this country. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Abdul.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I beg to reply. First of all, Honorable Speaker, I will take this opportunity to thank all the honorable members who have contributed to this motion. They have made very, very useful contributions that will go a long way in enriching this motion. Honorable Speaker, what this motion is seeking is a prayer that this House resolves that the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Forestry develops a policy on IT that deploys the use of satellites in the monitoring and forecasting of climatic conditions with the objective of ensuring timely and accurate data collection to enhance the country's capacity to respond to weather-related risks and vulnerabilities, including climate change. Honorable Speaker, the honorable members who have made their contribution to this motion have actually made very, very useful contributions. One uniform thread throughout the contribution the honorable members have made is the fact that reliance on traditional mode of climate monitoring is outdated, and that Kenya needs to move to the next stage, like the other nations in the developed world have done, to use satellite for climate data collection so that we can have more reliable, more accurate and more efficient climate information that can be used to assist our communities who are living in fragile environments and who have suffered deep sufferings from the impact of rapidly changing climatic conditions and especially climate change. Honorable Speaker, I thank Honorable KJ when he said that this satellite-based technology can be married with the new technology like the AI so that we can have more reliable, more efficient data for climate. And I think that was very, very useful, and it will go a long way in enriching this motion. Honorable KJ also went a long way in informing us that we are now in the 4th industrial revolution, and technologies like this will be very helpful for this country, not forgetting the fact that this is an opportunity to also partner with other developed countries who are already using satellite technology to predict their climate conditions and weather, like for example the US, the Japan, South Korea, China and India, countries who have used this technology for many years to predict. Like for example in the US, they predict very, very accurately even the coming of the cyclones. And this can happen even in this country, so long as we have a policy that will move deliberately to making sure that we use satellite technology to collect climate information. Honorable Speaker, the good news is that Kenya launched a satellite, IFA-1, recently, and that satellite makes Kenya become the 12th country in Africa with that kind of a facility, and we will definitely benefit from satellite-based data in order to make sure that we predict our weather so that our farmers can know when to plant and when to expect drought, so that pastoralists can know when actually to expect dry season and when to expect pasture period, so that we can have proper, accurate determination of when we are going to have storm in our lakes, so that we can give information to our people. so that we can know when flights can fly, when maritime ships can dock. All that information can be very helpful to this country. Honorable Speaker, with those few remarks, I will request the Speaker, I will request that you defer putting of question pursuant to Standing Order 53.3. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
I would just go back to the mic and say you beg to reply, you reply.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to reply. Thank you.
Members, we, as requested by the Honorable Abdul, we defer the putting of this question to the next time this motion is put up for decision. Next order.
Order number 13, motion, policy for the provision of mental health services.
So we defer this motion to the next time it's slotted in the order paper. Next order.
Order number 14, motion, providing a safety net for caregivers of persons with severe disabilities.
Before I call Honorable Kiara, I want to just notify members that from where I sit, and based on the Speaker's communication, if you don't have a card, there's a very special office up there, a small office up there, which can always give you a temporary card so that you're able to contribute. Because we will not give any member who has no card a chance to contribute. Just walk up there, it takes you 2 minutes only to get a temporary card, then you come and log in and you contribute. Honorable Dorothy Kiara, go ahead.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I seek to move a motion to provide safety net for caregivers of persons with severe disabilities. More specifically, it calls upon the government to offer social protection and support to caregivers through implementation of a cash transfer program for this category of persons. The objective of this motion is to alleviate the economic burden of such caregivers, thus improving their quality of life from a social and health perspective. Honorable Speaker, according to the 2019 census report, 2.2%, that is 0.9 million Kenyans, live with some form of disability, with majority residing in rural areas. There is an established link between poverty and disability, and approximately over half of persons with disability in Kenya are impoverished. Honorable Speaker, it's important to note that these persons with severe disability cannot be able to engage in any meaningful activity because of the enormous burden that they carry on a daily basis. Cash transfer to people with severe disability is among a national social protection scheme for vulnerable groups. Its overall goal is to support poor households and have a member living with severe disability that requires around-the-clock care. A regular transfer of the 2,000 shillings per month is paid to only the beneficiaries by monthly basis. Honorable Speaker, while the Social Assistance Act 2013 provides for social assistance of persons with disability, it is very silent on caregivers' welfare. The Act includes care in residential institutions in the definition, financial assistance, but it does not mention caregivers. Honorable Speaker, the Constitution of Kenya 2010 provides in Article 28 that every person has inherent dignity and the right to have that dignity respected and protected. While Article 43 asserts that every person has the right to social security and requires the state to provide appropriate social security to persons who are unable to support themselves or their dependents. Honorable Speaker, caregivers for persons with severe disabilities tend to be relatives and friends, which reduces expenditure on formal care. However, the policy and legal framework, as well as programs that support services, tend to ignore the needs and welfare of caregivers who do not typically receive training or remuneration. Since caregivers cannot meaningfully participate in income-generating endeavors, they may rely on the assistance of others and as such could greatly benefit from the government-sponsored services, including sufficient financial support. Honorable Speaker, caregivers face a myriad of challenges while providing care for this special category. Caregivers often sacrifice employment to take care of persons with severe disabilities who cannot be able to do anything for themselves. Honorable Speaker, this has made it impossible for a person or a family taking care of a severely disabled person to leave them on their own. Honorable Speaker, insufficient support and resource contributes to the caregiver's burden, which may lead to a reduction in the quality of the care provision. Broader impacts on the family, which include marital dissatisfaction, isolation, stigma, and reduced social interaction with other community members. Honorable Speaker, their own needs and obligations, which they are also unable to perform or invest in their human capital as they are preoccupied with caregiving duties. Loss of jobs and productivity is inevitable as they now focus their attention on a family member with severe disability. Their quality of life is closely linked to caregivers' burden, and reducing this burden can improve their quality of life. Financial implications of having children or persons with severe disability include reduced family income, significant high financial demands, and poor access to material and services as resources are transferred to these people. Honorable Speaker, the demands for caregiver and lack of support may give rise to negative consequences for their physical and psychological well-being, which may cause further financial stress and may result in them abandoning their caregiving role. Psychological issues that face parents and caregivers of children and persons with severe disability include stress, feeling of guilt, low self-esteem, negative emotional behavior, worrying about the future of these children, anxiety, and depression. Honorable Speaker, caregivers dedicate their lives to caring of these persons with disability, and they cannot even undertake civic duties, even voting. Honorable Speaker, it is therefore for this particular reason, that is the reason why I'm urging these members to support this particular motion, bearing in mind, Honorable Speaker, that anybody and any one of us seated in this House can be a candidate of severe disability, Honorable Speaker, because when you don't know when disability will strike, we have had people who have had accidents, Honorable Speaker, and at the end of the day, they find themselves completely incapacitated and completely unable even to do the normal courses that they used to do for themselves. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, I want to urge this House, as I conclude, let us all support this motion. We are not only supporting for these children and persons with severe disability, we are also supporting this motion for our own safety, because at one stage in life, you'll never know when you need care and attention from one of your relatives, friends, or even your wife. Honorable Speaker, it is very dismaying to note that mothers who get severely disabled children, sometimes they are left to take care of these children on their own, because in most incidents, when men realize that there is a huge burden of taking care of a severely disabled child, they tend to run away. Honorable Speaker, and as nature has added, there are parents who are very unfortunate that you see a parent who has given birth to one child with very severe disability. He or she is also a candidate of giving birth to another severely disabled child. So to alleviate the burden of these children, I urge this House to support this motion. And Honorable Speaker, I want to ask Honorable Maruru Injendi to second this motion, MP for Marava. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The Honorable Malulu. The Honorable Ijendi.
Yes, thank you, Madam Speaker. I arise to...
Sorry, Honorable Ijendi. Please take your seat. Honorable members, before the seconding of the motion, this morning, seated in the public gallery, I would like to recognize students from Kamuwongo Secondary School, Mwingi North constituency in Kitui County, students from Kieni Secondary School, Subukia constituency in Nakuru County, and Lizi Wanyoike Preparatory School in Ruiru constituency, Kiambu County. You are welcome to the National Assembly to observe proceedings of the House. You may proceed, Honorable Malulu Ijendi, to second the motion.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I arise to second this motion by citing the chapter on the Bill of Rights in the Kenyan Constitution 2010 that provides for employment of economic and social rights under Article 43(1)(a) to F on 6 sectors, which include health, adequate food, and of acceptable quality, housing, clean and safe water, social security, and education. Madam Speaker, I even want to start, as I second this motion, with the 2,000 that the persons with severe disability receive every month. Madam Speaker, from where we sit, where we stand, maybe members should also ask themselves, is 2,000 sufficient to take care of the Bill of Rights as is quoted, is cited in chapter 43? Madam Speaker, is not sufficient. This is an amount that the government came up with sometimes back. Maybe it's a moment, looking at the economic times presently, that we can review. So, Madam Speaker, when you look at this, then compare it also to the persons who give care to the persons with severe disability, it's really a situation that we really have to come in as a parliament and persuade ourselves to assist these particular persons, because you find that most of the persons who do this work, who give this care, Madam Speaker, it's a full-time employment. And most of these persons, Madam Speaker, are usually mothers. If not mothers, they are children who are supposed to be going to school, but they are assigned the role of giving care to these particular persons. So, Madam Speaker, I'm quoting the 2,000 because in most cases, like I see in my constituency, in most cases you find that these particular caregivers resort also to sharing these 2,000 from the persons who are supposed to benefit from it. So, Madam Speaker, for us to ensure that these persons really are leading this kind of life, quality life, decent life, is to ensure that when we are giving the 2,000 to this particular person with disability, the government should also consider allocating an amount to these particular givers. And Madam Speaker, I would propose an amount that is higher than this, because these are persons who are on full-time. These are persons who also have other responsibilities that they have to take care of when they are giving this particular support. Madam Speaker, what I would also urge the government, maybe to look at the government to which I belong to, is to just oppose. Supposing these particular persons are taken into an institution for caregiving, it would cost the government a lot of money. But you see, communities or families have volunteered to take care of these particular persons, whereby we need some support so that these persons can also lead a decent life. Madam Speaker, most families that suffer this are poor families. Because they have no another source, they have no other person they can run to help providing this care. And Madam Speaker, therefore, it's very important during this particular time in our country that we have to consider ensuring that we give some money to these particular persons who do this work. Madam Speaker, you realize that the kind of disability we're also referring to is so severe that it requires so much care. Madam Speaker, a part of this care is, for example, feeding these particular persons. The other one is ensuring that, Madam Speaker, when they call for some natural call, toilets, Madam Speaker, we have these persons who take care of them. Madam Speaker, we can only improve on the ego of these particular persons. We can only improve on the life of these particular persons when actually we are giving them something that can ensure that they are also very proud of the kind of work they're providing to these particular persons with this kind of disability. So, Madam Speaker, it's a moment for us maybe to start empowering families, because I'm aware of a family in my constituency where a family has 6 children and all of them are of disability. Madam Speaker, this is a family that has to take care of these children in terms of needs, in terms of food, in terms of education, and the government does not provide for the family at all. So, Madam Speaker, I rise to second this motion and second the Honorable Member Dorothy Muthoni for coming up with this motion that will ensure that most Kenyans during this particular regime enjoy their lives as stipulated in Chapter 3 of our Constitution. I second.
Thank you. Thank you very much, honorable members. Before I propose the question, I would like to recognize our guests. Seated in the speakers gallery this morning, we have students from Utumishi Boys Academy from Gilgil constituency, Nakuru County. You are welcome to the National Assembly to observe proceedings of the House. Honorable members, I now propose the question that, aware that Article 21(3) of the Constitution provides that all state organs have the duty to address the needs of vulnerable groups within the society. Further aware that the Persons with Severe Disabilities Cash Transfer Program, PWSDCT, is one of the 4 cash transfer programs implemented by the government as part of the overall social protection interventions, noting that caregivers undertaking the immense responsibility of providing daily care and assistance to persons with severe disabilities are oftentimes the immediate family members of the PWSD, concerned that these causes are disproportionate burden on these families as persons who would otherwise be engaged in gainful employment or other activities to provide for the families are limited to these immense responsibilities. Further concerned that this loss of income opportunities and resources exacerbates the challenges faced by these families, cognizant that the government ought to take action to recognize the invaluable contribution of caregivers and support them in caring for individuals with severe disabilities. Now, therefore, this House resolves that the government, through the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection, recognizes primary caregivers of persons with severe disabilities, and social protection recognizes the primary caregivers of persons with severe disabilities, PWSD, as distinct category requiring social protection and support, and further develops and implements a cash transfer program for these primary caregivers. Honorable members, before we go to debate, I would like to give a communication. Honorable members, pass one to Standing Order 41.1 of the National Assembly Standing Orders. I wish to report to the House that I have received a message from the Senate regarding the passage of the Affordable Housing Bill, National Assembly Bill number 75 of 2023. The message conveys that on Wednesday, 12th March 2024, the Senate considered and passed the bill with amendments. Honorable members, you will recall that on Wednesday, the 21st February 2024, the National Assembly considered and passed this bill with amendments, following which the Speaker referred the bill to the Senate for consideration pursuant to provisions of Article 110(4) of the Constitution. In this regard, the message and the schedule of the amendments is hereby referred to the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning and the Departmental Committee on Housing, Urban Planning and Public Work to jointly consider and report to the House. I further direct the clerk to circulate these amendments to all members in accordance with Standing Order 145. Honorable members, noting the urgent nature of this bill, I urge the two committees to expeditiously consider the amendments to the bill and submit a report to guide and enable the House conclude the next steps. Additionally, the committees are encouraged to liaise with the sponsor of the bill in processing the Senate amendments. The House is accordingly guided. Thank you. Honorable members, opportunity for debate now goes to the Honorable Peter Kihungi, that is on the motion, motion number 14. You may proceed, Honorable Kihungi. Member for Kangemi. I see a point of order by the member for the Honorable Kiari. You are waiting for your turn. You may proceed, Honorable Kihungi. Oh, the Honorable John Waweru, then, it's your opportunity now.
Madam Speaker, I thank you. And allow me to start by congratulating the Honorable Mwalimu Ikiara for bringing this very important matter for consideration by the House. And Madam Speaker, what the Honorable Member is doing is that she's pricking our conscience as a nation. She's pricking our conscience for us to consider what we do with the least among us in our society. Madam Speaker, it is a good book that teaches us that whatsoever you do to the least of my brothers, that you do unto me. Honorable Speaker, what she is doing here is not primarily for the caregivers. It is actually for the Kenyans who are living with severe disability. And Madam Speaker, because of that, I do stand to support. Madam Speaker, in my contribution, I shall also be making some bills that might be useful for the Honorable Ikiara when she decides to promote this into a bill to go beyond a motion. Madam Speaker, by providing a stipend for the caregivers who are taking care of the very severely disabled in this country, Madam Speaker, we are doing a number of things. We are giving an assurance for better quality care for these persons, Madam Speaker. We are also making sure that we are recognizing the efforts of these individuals who do the work that not every other individual would do